Our guest today is founder and co-owner of Crown Security Systems Incorporated, named Outstanding Georgia Citizen by Secretary of State and now Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. He served on the Hapeville City Council from 1998 to 2006, and he was elected mayor of the City of Hapeville in 2006 and is currently serving his 5th term as mayor. I would like to welcome and introduce Mayor Hallman of the City of Hapeville.
Thank you very much, Artie. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here today.
All right. Well, thank you, Mayor. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. So what I'd like to start off with this morning is I've talked to, shared with our guest a little bit about your professional background. But tell us a little bit about how did you end up in the City of Hapeville and how did you end up in elected office?
Well, I'm 4th generation in the City of Hapeville, so I grew up in Hapeville. I've been in Hapeville my entire life, and after school, a lot of people left, and I decided to stick around. Got married, had a family, and I decided that I wanted to serve my city. I wanted to run for elected office. So in the late 80s, I ran for elected office and got my clock clean, didn't do so well. So in the 90s, I said, well, I'm going to give it another try. And I ran and successfully came in as city council member. And I was going to do one term and move on and do something else. And then I ran for re-election, and our mayor at the time was C.C. Martin. And C.C. Martin fell ill. And he had a little bit of time left on his term. And I just thought, I said, I think I'm gonna shoot for that position, and ran for it, and I seem to just keep running again. So I've enjoyed it. I really just did it to serve my community, because my community means so much to me. So many people in that community, in the community of Hapeville, shaped my life, and I just wanted to give a little bit back to help make our city a better place.
Okay, well, that's a great thing, and according to what I've experienced since 2013, when I first arrived here in the Atlanta metro area, you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
In the City of Hapeville. Thank you. Okay. Well, since you've been in office, you have seen many changes.
Yes, sir.
In Hapeville. A lot of good and, some bad things also. Kind of talk to our guests of the Southside Show a little bit about kind of, how you dealt with the Ford Assembly plant when they first closed, and just trying to kind of reinvent the City of Hapeville, which is a city of 2.4 square miles and roughly about
68, somewhere around 7,000 people.
So kind of talk to our guests about the City of Hapeville and how resilient the City of Hapeville is.
Well, when Ford Motor Company closed, they had been a presence in our city for 60 years. They were our second largest employer, our largest water user, our largest taxpayer. And their departure was an economic blow to the city. We worked through the process of them winding down the plant. And of course, Jacoby Development bought the former site. And the wheels were turning towards some development over there. And then, of course, the Great Recession came along. So it was almost like the perfect storm. Everything all lined up at the same time. In a bad way. And so we had choices to make at the time. I was in the middle of a re-election, and I went to the citizens and said, we just lost Ford. This is how much money we lost. We can't shut the doors. We've got to keep rolling. So we did a $4 million tax increase. And I managed, even on the heels of that, I managed to get reelected, which was kind of surprising to me. But the citizens realized, with a small town like that, losing that much at one time was a big bite for us. So we were able to bounce back from that. And during the downtime, between the time that Ford closed, Jacoby bought the site, the Great Recession, there were those periods of time where we could have just put everything on hold. But we kept moving forward. We kept doing streetscapes. We kept working with our development authority on property acquisition. We just continued to plant the seeds in the garden so that we could bring the economy back one day. And it paid off.
Yes, it did.
It paid off.
Yeah, it paid off. And you mentioned streetscapes. That's one thing I love about the City of Hapeville is that the magnificent job that you've done with the murals and the streetscapes and the it's just kind of the shops and the restaurants, and it's just a very quaint community. Hapeville, I feel that they punch a lot, I guess harder than their weight in most cases. But as far as after Ford left, then we've had, I guess, Porsche to locate in Hapeville, and you have a number of other. Recently, the expansion of Porsche,
right,
with their new
service
center. What other things are on the horizon in Hapeville right now? I've seen several new projects that you guys have introduced and ones that you're working on. Kind of tell us about those.
We've got a couple of multifamily projects coming out of the ground. We have some single family home construction going on. Our development authority recently sold a parcel, and we've got some homes and retail going in on there on South Central Avenue, right at the East Point border. And we just wrapped up a hotel. The MC Suites Hotel on Virginia Avenue is nearing completion and will be opening soon. Of course, the Porsche Service Center. And Porsche announced a year or so ago that there were some other plans on the horizon for some expansion on their part. So I'm hoping that Porsche will continue to expand. We've got a multifamily coming in on North Central Avenue there at the former location of the comedy club that was there. And so we're very excited about that. And the city has a challenge in the fact that we're only about 2.5 square miles.
Right.
We don't have much available land. So we've got to do it right. And part of that doing it right involves a certain level of density just because of our location. And the prices of land, of course, have gone up to the point where you've got to have some density to make things work. So there are a lot of exciting things on the horizon that are in the works, some nearing completion and others to still get off the ground. So it's an exciting time for us. It really is.
Yeah. So tell us, I know that who was your largest employer? Is it Delta?
Delta will be our largest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, all the cities around the airport kind of depend upon the airport for
Absolutely.
a lot of their tax base. In the city of Hapeville, with COVID and what happened in 2020, March 2020, how when everything shut down, it really shuttered College Park. And I'm quite sure it shuttered all the cities around it because we are mainly a hospitality community.
Right.
And that we depend a lot upon the airport and those passengers or the passengers that come to the airport. What has the city of Hapeville done to kind of reinvent itself and to be able to kind of get through these difficult times?
Well, it goes back to what I said about the closing of Ford. You've got a choice when tough times come along.
Right.
You can either fold your tent and run away from it, or you can face the music and keep plugging forward. We were able to pull cash out of reserves to get through. We, like College Park, lost a tremendous amount of hotel motel tax funding. And so much, I've always said that with the city of Hapeville, East Point, College Park being so close to the airport, there's no way we could fail. But I never anticipated a pandemic coming along. And it made me realize just how dependent and just how widespread the halo effect of the airport is, because it's not just the airport itself. It's all of the hospitality that drives. It's all of the corporate presence that drives.
Right.
Everything reaches back to that airport.
That entire ecosystem.
It really does. It is its own ecosystem. So it made me realize the value of that and how we need to continue to capitalize on that. But the other thing I'll say is the state of Georgia has a very diverse economy. And I think that's what kept us alive as smaller cities,
right,
was capitalizing on the diversity of that economy.
Right. Okay.
We're not a one-horse town.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I've worked in towns before where they had like one major employer, and once that major employer went away, it wasn't a pretty sight.
That's what we faced with Ford, was the fact that most cities our size, especially, a departure of somebody like Ford would have been a death blow, But again, we were resilient enough with the other economic engines around us to build off of that and come out on the other side of it. And we'll do the same thing with COVID. I mean, COVID, the primary thing was it hurt us from a revenue standpoint from the city, but it also hurt our businesses, that depend so much upon the lunch traffic from Delta and things like that. So
right.
Yeah, long, wide-reaching effect from that.
Yeah. Well, I'm always utilizing the post office in Hapeville. My daughter has a small business, so the Hapeville post office, 24 hours a day, we're going through downtown Hapeville almost every other day. But I was kind of alarmed to see that the Chick-fil-A, had been raised. But I was happy to hear that there was an expansion or a new facility coming online. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Yeah,
we've been working with the Cathy family for a number of years in a way to kind of memorialize the life of Drew Cathy since Chick-fil-A started in Hapeville. Their first restaurant was on North Central Avenue, just west of where they are now. And upon his passing, the family wanted to pay homage to his legacy and recognize the fact that it all did start in Hapeville. We're very proud of that. And so there was some discussion back and forth with them about keeping the existing facility, which many people refer to as the original, but technically it wasn't.
Right.
And versus raising that and coming in and putting in a brand new facility. And that's what they ultimately decided to do, was to come in and put in right around 11,000 square foot facility. But the architecture of that facility will reflect, it'll go all the way back to the beginning of Chick-fil-A. So when you walk in, there'll be one part of it that'll have a dwarf house feel that it'll look just like the old dwarf house. So the architecture, you can see the evolution of Chick-fil-A in the architecture of the building.
Okay.
And we're very excited about it because, as you well know, in your field,
right,
having something for people to come to your community for is very important. You guys are blessed to have the convention center and the recent addition of the sporting facility there.
Right.
So, and for Hapeville, there's not a lot of draw. Of course, we got Porsche with the experience track, which has been huge for us. But now we'll have the Chick-fil-A where people, I'm always, before they tore down Chick-fil-A, I was always amazed at how many times I'd ride by and see people taking pictures, sitting in the bench up front next to Mr. Cathy's statue and taking pictures and everything. So it made me realize just how much people value that legacy and want to come by and say, hey, we visited that. So we'll always be the home of Chick-fil-A, and I'm looking forward to that new facility, which will welcome people in to come in and go, hey, this is where it all started. And the architecture, as I said, will reflect that.
Right. Well, even though Hapeville is a very small town, 2.4 square miles, it has a lot in it. Entertainment-wise, a place that I've gone to several times and I've even taken family to that have visited from out of town is the Delta Museum. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. What else is there in the city of Hapeville for people to do that want to kind of enjoy themselves, entertainment, music?
We have of course, we have Delta Museum, like you said. We've got the Porsche facility for the driving experience. We've got the Academy Theater, which is a performing arts theater. Of course, COVID hit them hard as well. And having that, we did a partnership with them through our tourism product development funding. And that's been really good for our downtown because Hapeville's downtown was always successful during the day, but not so much at night. So things like the Academy Theater will bring a draw in the evening, and they'll support our restaurants and other things. And of course, having the various murals and other art displays around town, that's been a big, big draw for us. Having a healthy and vibrant arts program, in my opinion, is a very key ingredient to having a successful city.
Okay. As a developer or potential homeowner or entrepreneur, why should a person consider investing in Hapeville?
It's all about location. We are sandwiched in between Interstate 75 and 85. Mm-hmm. We're minutes away from 285. We're minutes away from the world's busiest airport. We're not far from downtown Atlanta.
Right.
It's like the center of the universe, in my opinion, from a transportation standpoint, from an amenity standpoint. I always tell everybody we're a small town with a big airport, so we like to take advantage of that. And I think I think it's all about where we are and what we have, not only internally in Hapeville, but what is it within close proximity to us as far as available options for entertainment, sporting events, etc.
Right.
Transportation, mainly.
Right.
So,
okay. Location.
yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. So what particular obstacles do you see in Hapeville's future that you as a mayor want to try to get your hands around before it becomes major?
Well, again, we're about to be built out from a land perspective. So we need to focus on maximizing the development for the little land we've got left. Make sure we get good quality out of that. And of course, I think all cities have learned a valuable lesson from the pandemic in that we need to be more economically prepared for events like that. Because, we survived this one, but if we had another one a year from now, I don't know how we would fare. It would be difficult. So, just maximizing what we've got now with an eye on the future to make sure that we don't, because what really makes Hapeville unique, in my opinion, is the development that we've had maintains a respect for the heart of our community, the neighborhoods of our community. So we want to make sure that we keep a balance so that commercial development doesn't encroach and take over the heart of the neighborhood, which makes a city. It gives the city its soul. And we just don't want to lose our soul.
Right. Well, I've witnessed during during COVID, especially when everyone was still sheltering in places and when only essential businesses were open, that there was a lot of synergy between the municipalities, your colleagues. You guys were really working together to make ends meet because nobody really knew what the future had to hold.
Right.
What have you learned during the, COVID pandemic that you're going to continue to utilize in the future?
Well, I think it's important with the city's relationship with the county, for example, because Fulton County had gotten a lot of COVID funds and the cities kind of stepped up to the plate and said, well, we would like a little more say-so about the direction of those funds.
Right.
And all of the mayors in Fulton County got together. And the one thing I've learned from this is the collective voice of all the cities in Fulton County is very loud and it will be listened to. And that's important because, especially for a smaller town like Hapeville, I don't have a lot of leverage by myself. But when I join my colleagues,
right.
we've got like I say, we've got a very loud voice.
Yeah.
Not to be used for harm, but to be used for good.
Right. Definitely. Okay. Well, do you have any last words or last thoughts that you would like to leave the guests of the Southside Show?
Well, I just want to say thank you to my fellow elected officials from around the area because, for so many years, the Southside has been ignored. And I think it's our time to shine. And I think collectively, we've done a very good job of showing what the South Side of Fulton County is, the power that we have, the opportunities that we have. And I think we've got bright, bright days ahead of us. And I'm very proud to be a part of what's going on in the Tri-Cities area and the South Fulton area.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mayor Hallman, for all that you do, for your support and your leadership. Like I said, it's the work that you've done. It's there. It's visible, and we recognize all the hard work and behind the scenes work that's going on with you and within your community.
It's all about the team. You got to have a good team, and Hapeville's got a good team, just like you have in College Park. So we work together and do great things.
All right.
Well, thank you, Artie. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
All right.
I'm Mayor Hallman from the City of Hapeville. Don't sleep on the South Side.